I don't have access to my PC right now while living out of my car for the most part, and the police are often scarce for video content in the places I normally am, at least lately. But I thought I'd make a couple vids laying out some potential channel direction, including my opinions. You want my honest opinion? On police? Government? Oh, you don't? Okay, good, here it is. I have to say, I am at a realization that when it comes right down to it, there aren't really good police. Let me clarify. There are good officers who don't purposely infringe on rights and are interested in catching truly bad people, and are good people in their private lives. I know some. I respect them as people, and hope they wake up. However, how can you be labeled good when working in a profession that is essentially nothing more than an arm of control for a corrupt and tyrannical government? How can you be considered good as a profession when daily you ignore your oath, enforce unconstitutional control techniques written into laws, which by even basic analysis infringe on freedoms and liberties, through threat of violence, death, kidnapping, and imprisonment, property theft, and more? I'm not talking about the cops who are obviously on power trips, or purposely violate rights, injure, and kill. We already know they're oxygen-wasting shitbirds. You can plainly see that. I'm referring to the ones that convince themselves they are good because they don't purposely violate freedom and rights, because they don't go out of their way to try to get their egos inflated by exercising controls over others. Even they still work in a profession that is acting as a control mechanism, a theft mechanism, a murdering mechanism of those who want to control you, weaken you, and convince you that you must sacrifice essential liberty for security to increase their own power and security from those they govern and control without any concern for actual freedom and liberty. How can you be considered good when you are the enforcement arm, the tip of the sword for the bad? You can't. So even the officers I know or knew, who I would have no issue breaking bread with at dinner in their capacity as private citizens, once they put on that uniform and report for their duty shift, are participating willfully, sometimes ignorantly, in the corruption, theft, murders, kidnapping, and imprisonment. I find this unfortunate because I know some truly decent people who put on the costume of enforcer who either truly just don't get it or truly know they are participating in injustice but trudge their way through the shift daily for whatever personal reasons they have, money, insurance, family, whatever their reasoning is. The police will be, and already are, being used as the tip of the spear for the tyranny, whether the ones calling themselves good recognize it or not. I'd be willing to bet many of them would not enjoy either themselves or their family members being subjected to the tyranny they often perpetrate on others during their shifts. Just because you don't participate in the burglary of a home, if you help get the burglar there, if you drive the car, you have guilt, participation, and culpability in the burglary. The government tells you that if you are present during the course of a felony and someone in your group kills another person, or someone in your group dies themselves during the commission of the felony, you can and most likely will be charged with murder. It's called the felony murder rule, or law. So it isn't unreasonable to use the same rule, the same standard, to judge the officers, is it? They are at least driving the car, or at least are present during the commission of the crimes against freedoms, liberties, and people. Officers often say they treat everyone the same, for safety, and they never know which person might want to act against their safety. I find it just as fitting to treat all officers the same, since you never know whether you're dealing with a thug, bully, tyrant, murderer, thief, liar of an officer. Once, someone told me on this channel, quote, "You better pick a side," unquote. That person was saying that I must pick a side between the sides I'm offered by a corrupt government of thieves, liars, murderers, and tyrants, and suggested that the police are on the side of freedom and liberty. They are not, in most scenarios, in my opinion. They are mostly blind, order-following, self-concerned sheep, easily convinced that they are on the, quote, right, unquote, side. So I did choose a side. I chose the side of freedom and liberty. Unfortunately, this often puts me at odds with the law enforcement profession in general, and specifically many officers, and my channel will start reflecting such, I believe. In my humble and honest opinion, it is not I who needs to pick a side. It's those wearing the badge, and they need to do so before it's too late. At the end of the day, my grandmother's words ring true when she often said, quote, "If you lay down with dogs, you're going to get fleas," unquote. I'd say if you work on behalf of tyranny, whether accidentally or purposely, ignorantly or not, you're acting as a tyrant. Period. Full stop. As always, you may disagree or dislike my speech, and I couldn't care less. Subscribe, unsubscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, donate, don't donate, curse me to hell. Come here and tell me how I've got it all wrong, and government and police and judges love us and want to help, and they're all heroes. Whatever trips your trigger. Me, I'm just moving on.